Today we're going to talk about Caeleb Dressel's record-breaking performance in the 50 freestyle at the 2018 NCAA Championships. But before we get into the details of the barrier-breaking performance, let's take a quick look at other barriers broken in the 50 freestyle. In 1977, USC swimmer Joseph Bottom became the first person to break 20 in the 50 freestyle with a 19.77. Then, 30 years later, in 2007, Benjamin Wild Tortburner became the first man to break 19 in the 50 free with an 18.77. 2 years later, Cesar Cielo set the U.S. Open record at an 18.47. Then in 2016, Caeleb Dressel swam an 18.23, shattering Cielo's previous record, and the hunt for breaking 18 was on. Caeleb Dressel has one of the best dives in the world. Now his reaction time of .60 average isn't too far off what the best elite sprinters are doing on the blocks. He's very similar in times to them. But he generates so much more power coming off the block and carries so much more speed entering the water due to maintaining a great body line through his entry. Those two factors set his dive apart from anyone else in the world. When we look at his tempo, he was a .90 average per cycle on his first 25 and a .93 average per cycle on his second 25. His tempo was similar. He might have a slight edge over some swimmers in the field, but you know, he's coming down to maybe 100th of a second faster per cycle. And when you look at maybe a 10-cycle race like the 50 free, that 10th of a second can be a big factor. For his stroke count, his first 25 he took 9 strokes, and in his second 25 he took 11 strokes. Many swimmers also in that heat were somewhere around 10 to 12 or 9 on the way down and 13 on the way back. And when you think about a stroke taking, you know, 0.45 or even a half second per stroke, when he's taking 1 to 2 less strokes, that's where you're starting to get almost a full second difference in the field. His turns and underwaters are world class. You can see in the race footage that he nails his turn. There's almost zero loss of momentum from his last stroke to when he's coming off the wall. And part of the reason he has such a great turn is that he knows his stroke count so well. He knows that he needs to take 9 strokes in his first 25. He knows exactly where that 9th stroke finishes, and he needs to start his turn. And that's the reason he has a great finish as well. It's the same thing. He knows he's going to take 11 strokes on that second 25, and he knows exactly where that 11th stroke is going to be, so he can hit the wall at full speed. Like most elite sprinters in the 50 free, he doesn't take a breath in his race. And most swimmers have trained for this. They've trained for the oxygen deprivation for 20 seconds to know that they can get through it. Because if we think back to last week's race, where we saw that Elaine Bernard's 2 or 3 breaths, you know, added almost 3/10 of a second for him, that's a massive impact in a 50 freestyle. I think the big thing that we can take to our training for 50 freestyle training is being able to practice those details perfectly every time, over and over and over again, knowing exactly how many strokes you need to take in that first 25 to get to your turn, knowing exactly how many dolphin kicks you need to take underwater to get to your breakout, knowing exactly how many strokes you need to take on that second 25 to get to your finish. These are things that no doubt Dressel, outside of just other 50 freestyle races, no doubt Dressel has practiced thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times to fine-tune, to make sure he knows, and there's no surprises when he comes to a race. Caeleb Dressel became the first man to break 18 in the 50 free. And in fact, still today, Cesar Cielo's 18.47 is the second fastest time in history. But since then, Caeleb Dressel has posted 12 other times faster than that. Yes, Caeleb Dressel has the 13 fastest times in the 50-yard freestyle in history. In the 50 freestyle, details matter. One error can be up to a 1/10 of a second. 3 airs can be almost a full second. Being able to race perfectly in that 50 free matters.